Alright, welcome everyone. We are looking at Team Boluo at the Gold League going up against TPY. So right now we're actually having for the first time the Europeans appear, well, I want to say on stage, but this part of the tournament is still online. So just a bit of a recap in case that you don't know what the Gold League is. It's a tournament currently held in China, and there are some rules in the tournament that the team that wants to play only has to have 2 Chinese players. So we actually have 3 teams that have players from either Korea or from Europe participating, and in this case we have Wubby, Schwimpi and Poilk playing from Europe. So is Gia, who is apparently Chinese, lives in Europe as far as I know, and is currently participating with the boys, and 365, a former CE player, as Team Boluo in the Gold League tournament. Now, as you've probably already seen if you watched some of the previous videos or live streams, we are still in the very, very early round of the tournament, which obviously also means that since the tournament is featuring more than 160 teams, a lot of them are not quite on the same level. So this day so far has been mostly us introducing the top teams here, for example CE or BTG, that had pretty easy games against their opponents. I personally don't really know TPY, so I can't tell you on which level they are playing here, but the favorite for this one is definitely Boluo as they're heading into this. Now, the entire setup in Gold League is so that the final 8 teams will make it to the offline event where they are going to play for the prize money. So it's definitely going to be an interesting setup as the tournament continues. In the earlier round, you will definitely have a lot of teams that go up against each other that aren't quite on the same level. But that should change pretty quickly as the tournament continues. We've already seen quite a few teams that feature former HGC players from Korea, from Europe, and also from China. So things are getting a little bit more dicey as that happens. But this is the first appearance that we're having from Team Boluo and from the Europeans here. And in terms of the draft that we're seeing from them, we have the early Toronto setup here. Wubby has been playing already in the games that we've seen around the Nut Cup, for example, in the main tank role, and it seems like this is likely going to be the case for them again. So Wubby with Turiel here as one of the early picks. We see again Lucio, and this is not the reworked Lucio that we have currently on the PTR, and that will soon join livestream. So a bit weird to have that as a pick this early on, especially if you're thinking about what's happening on the other side. I mean, you are looking at a setup that with the Tyrande is already indicating that your opponent wants to take down your heroes pretty quickly with a bit of a burst combo. And then you go into Lucio, who in terms of heals can only rely on his heroic ability to provide some kind of burst damage mitigation. So it is going to be a bit tricky. Lucio in general is just not a good support, hands down. He can be great if you have a team that is extremely well coordinated and is able to move around opponents, can for example raise down structures, or where they know exactly when to attack, when to go in, and up to that point just try and create a little bit of space with the speed bonus and just Lucio trying to bump targets away. Outside of strategies that center around that thought, Lucio is definitely struggling, and on a map like Infernal Shrines you're very reliant on your heroic ability too. So if you're going to get that damage, and well, we are already starting to get it with Junkrat coming in and now also Reyna being part of that combo, then Lucio will struggle here for sure. There's a lot of other supports that you would rather expect in a situation like this. I mean, even a hero like Deckard Cain, who has fallen off quite a bit, can give you so much more value if you're playing on Infernal Shrines than that. But as it happens, we have now Tychus and also Diablo taken for the Chinese team, whereas Team Boluo is relying on their last pick. We still don't have an offlaner for them, unless, of course, they play Wubby in that role. Which theoretically they could. We have seen that actually played a few times with TRL, but it's not quite what you would expect here. So we could have Blaze, for example, if you want to rely on an old school Sanctification and Bunker combination that has dominated a lot of tournaments already in the past. But there's other choices to be made too. And it is instead Dehaka. Global, great solo laner still. Can of course also rely on a lot of AoE clear and has a bit of a CC too that he can use with this. So we're heading into game number 1, and we're going to find out which team is going to take the lead here. Infernal Shrines is coming up here at the Gold League with Boluo going up against TPY. Game on! First map, Infernal Shrines, Boluo versus TPY. And let's see how this is going to work out for our European friends here as they are entering the stage of the tournament. Could be a fun one. I'm actually expecting quite a bit from them in the long run. Now keep in mind they played also in the Nut Cup. Was not quite the same setup that they're showcasing here, obviously, since back then they, for example, didn't play with a 365. But still going to be interesting to see how this one is turning out. They are the favorite in this game. I don't know TPY, but in the early stages of the tournament, as you would expect, we usually have a bit more one-sided matches so far. But it's definitely a first... Like, it's the first time that we're actually going to see them test their mettle here. They had a couple of coordination problems during the Nut Cup. This might be a very different story. I also don't know exactly how long they've now been in Taiwan, where to my knowledge they currently are. But right now the pressure is already on Diablo, and damn, there goes the first kill. Well done, Schwimpi, with the last hit here on Junkrat as they are dropping Diablo. Top lane is where 365 is going to play against Leoric here on the solo lane. But outside of that, already working that damage in, and even trying the quick invade here as the rotation is heading in straight into the arms of Jimmy, and that is the end of Jaina. Second kill secured. Job well done. Fantastic performance here in the early game from Boluo. 2 quick and easy kills as they are, of course, trying to make a statement here. We had a lot of the other teams that participate in the tournament with foreigners make great wins happen. I mean, we talked earlier about, for example, the one with Margi, Frankel, and Good. They did fantastic. They had a quick 2-0, several games ending under 10 minutes. CE in pretty much the exact same fashion ended their games too. And of course, when we're looking at the games that BTG played earlier on today too, it was very similar to that as well. And as the final 8 teams make it to the offline event, this is for most of them really the first goal in the tournament. Make it into the top 8, attend the offline event, and then take it from there, one round, one map at a time. So top 8 has to be the goal, and therefore you need, in these early rounds, when you have still a couple of softballs thrown against you, you need to make a bit of an impression here and really just start to ease into the tournament, warm up a little bit, and that's currently what they're trying to do here against TPY as well. And eventually we're going to see a few of these guys probably stumble a little bit, but at least in that early draft we still see them go all out with their combo. We're having, of course, these stuns coming in from Tyrande. There is still a chance that we're actually going to see Judgment. We've seen Judgment in a couple of the earlier rotations, and if you actually go into a Tyrande follow-up on Judgment, you can get quick kills. And they have played a little bit around there too. So we could definitely see that happen from their perspective. Had an earlier Judgment game already played by CE, if I'm not mistaken. So that could happen here too. Ace in the hole for Jimmy on the first one. We have Fight or Flight taken from Reina as well. But outside of the early 2 kills that we've seen there, we actually instead have Boluo now playing this a little bit slower, focusing more on the macro aspects of the map, which in this case actually means taking the Shaman camp just as the Shrine bot side spawns. And this is something that TPY is currently neglecting to do, and that's actually a bit of a problem, because that means that we're going to see an amazing amount of value now for Boluo up at the top lane, since nobody seems to really contest that. And it's not only that you have that Shaman camp taken, you have Tehaka to push out that lane too, because, well, he has the global and can always move in, and that's exactly what we're going to see eventually here. 365 is going to be ready for that move, but he pushes out the top lane, and this is going to become a bad issue for TPY. Now, Boluo is still fighting over the Shrine here, and they're slightly behind, but Tehaka is now getting more experience in the mid lane too, and that is going to translate into an early level 7 talent very soon, which is another big problem. That's a big power spike to come in to the game, and it's not that TPI has that around the corner. They are far cry away from that. So now Diablo is already low. Jaina's trying to get the damage. Here comes 365 from the backline. Wubby already taking a lot of damage here. Could trade though with a good explosion. They're making the play for Leo, and there is the kill. The drag on Jaina delivers another one, but they lose out on the objective itself. They get the double kill. Got a bit of value out of the top lane, less than expected, since the towers homed in on the Shaman itself. And now losing the Protector is, of course, a little bit of a problem. They're burning it down quickly, and at least in experience and also just position on the map right now, we have Boluo ahead. But obviously the goal was to also claim the Protector for the Punisher for themselves, and then play around that and be a bit more aggressive. And they haven't really managed to do that yet. We have also, for Tychus in this game, at least, the bigger they are taken. So no plays around the stacking process on level 4, as we've seen previously. Still seeing pretty much a normal build for Leo as well, with the Consume Vitality still straight into the Neil Peasant here for him. But camps are taken again by Boluo. They're playing well around it. They're actually having a really good setup here to again push with those camps, especially since they are going to head into an earlier level 10. And if they can time that around the push and then engage, Yeah, very likely to get maybe a few kills. Might even be able to pick up a fort here. Depends a little bit on how aggressive they play around Tyrael's ult in particular. This is a fantastic map for Sanctification, and it's usually the standard talent to take. But we have seen more aggressive variations of these plays in the recent past. We've seen that at the Nut Cup. We've seen it in this tournament. And there's definitely a chance with Tyrande that we're going to see Wubby go straight for Judgment, that they're following it up with a Tyrande stun and quick kills. And if they do that, then that window around level 10 becomes even more scary for TPY. And if you just look at the value that the Haka already got for Boluo, then you have pretty much a very good indication of who is going to run the macro game throughout this entire set. Because right now we have level 10 at a time when TPY doesn't even have 8.5. And that's pretty nuts. And we actually see the safe choice here on Tyrael, not taking any chances, going straight into the Sanctification. But with level 10 abilities, I mean, TPY is already so far behind here. It's honestly a little bit crazy at this point. I mean, for now, we're having, at the bottom of the map, still Leo trying to push this out against the camps. All the camps, of course, are creating pressure on the map that TPY has to react to, and Boluo is playing around it. They're actually starting the invade at the Shaman camp towards the top, and they can get that easily with level 10. And Wubby is about to claim it. Might fall, but could still trade, and uses Sanctification instead. Nearly Lucio falling, but instead it's Diablo that dies. So a kill for Boluo and the camp. Might be able to also snowball it straight into the fort itself now. And yep, that's a lot of damage already right there. Now, without a minion wave, they won't be able to take it down immediately. But eventually, they should be able to drop it, since that minion wave is going to soak a lot of the shots. The Haka with the Global has, of course, taken the lane on the other side of the map again. And they are just doing their thing. I mean, there's very little that TPY can do. You don't have level 10 yet. And now we have 5 kills against 0 with another Shrine announced too. So by the time that that spawns, TPY will finally be able to rely on heroic abilities. And there is a lot of synergy. I mean, let's be honest about it. We have Diablo with a potential Apocalypse. Lightning Breath also possible, totally. Leoric still with Entomb into Ring of Frost would be a great setup for him too. I'm a little bit afraid of seeing something like March of the Black King being chosen by Leo here. I really think that an Entomb setup would be great for not only Jaina, but it could also help with Diablo's damage output. And he goes into Lightning Breath. Not necessarily the same wombo potential that we're seeing with Apocalypse, but you still have a lot of value on the Shrine, and you can also claim the objective so much faster. The damage output that you get is not negligible either, especially if Leo is able to get a good Entomb off. And that's gonna be his job in those team fights. The level 13 talent for Boluo is so close, though. Very early Odin here too. Very early Odin already taken here. Jaina not going into ring, by the way. Instead, Water Elemental to control the movements a little bit better. Yeah, Poilk. Fight or flight for him. Wubby gets caught here for a second, has the Sanctification and uses it, and they get the kill against Leo. Leo is dead, but they're not stopping there. They're trying to go for the double kill. They want Diablo, and they're likely to get him. And just look at Jaina in the backline here. 365 might miss the drag, but Jaina is going to fall, and so does Tychus. It's a full team wipe. They are all down. Every single player obliterated on the side of TPY. And we are seeing Boluo already pushing out the top lane without any problem whatsoever. The rest of the team is rotating into the mid and bot lane, trying to get the experience here with the Haka. And obviously top side, we're still having Junkrat going straight for that Shrine, getting the Punisher itself. And now we're having level 13 talents against level 11, and this is just a nightmare for Boluo. Sorry, for TPY, obviously. For Boluo, I mean, they abandoned the idea that they can finish the game before 10 minutes, but they're still pretty much on target to at least win map number 1, because this push should net them the first keep of the game. So yeah, with that, the Aga still at the bot lane, trying to get even more value for the team. Doesn't even see a need to move in right now, and that could be a dead Diablo, and yes, it is. Dibbles is dead, as we have the Punisher going in for the pre-stun, and then Tyrande with a great follow-up. So now they're having a 4 versus 4 pretty much at the top lane. Diablo actually back to business, as he was at 100 and lost all of his stacks now. Good ult from Lucio. Enough to save Leoric here, but obviously not enough to save the keep itself. The keep is down, they can move away, and there's even more minions now pushing into the structures in the mid and bot lane. The Haka never joining the fight at the top, didn't have to. Provides more experience for the team, and they're pretty much 3-4 levels ahead at this point. So not only the extra talent for them, but they are closing in on level 16 too, which is another big problem. Double stun, their drag, and that should be a dead Leoric. Yeah, Mr. Swiffer himself, he can just pull another mob to the face, but he's not going to be able to make it out of that. Dearbles also just simply look at it. It's like saying, boys, I got you. You're not going to die alone. I'm going to die with you. Charges in as Tychus and Leoric are already both dead, and that is another triple kill here for Boluo. As the Swedes, with a little bit of Chinese help, are currently taking down TPY in expert fashion. 14 kills against 0, level 16 on the board in a second. 1 keep down, 2 forts eliminated, and now Dehaka moving down to the bottom of the map to drop fort number 3. That's pretty much exactly what you would expect here. So, great starting point here for Boluo. Again, it's their first game in the tournament. And I want to highlight again for people who watch this and expected this to be a bit closer. This is the first round. It is the first round of an open tournament. There's a lot of teams that signed up for this. A lot of them won't be on the same level as these guys. But it's good to see that at least for now the coordination with Team Boluo works. Because Schwimpi and the boys haven't really been in Taiwan for long, so they didn't have an opportunity to practice as a team for that much time. So they're already finding that synergy. And that's going to be important once you go up against tougher opponents here. But 14 kills against 0 is pretty much already telling you how TPY is going to struggle coming back into this. And they're trying to flank here right now. They know that they're still 4 levels behind, but they need to make a play at some point. Alien 2 missing is not a good start though. And they're starting now again with the ult on Lucio, making their way in. Dehaka obviously joining the fun this time, turning into a 5 versus 5. But both of the frontliners are in trouble. Leo is dead, so is Diablo, and he's not the only one. Lucio is dead too. The oversized minion is biting the dust here as Junkrat goes in for the final delivery with a nade to the face. The Riptire is ripping around a little bit, unlikely to get a lot of value. What? He gets the kill! Jaina not moving away here, and that allows Schwimpi to get the kill then eventually with the Riptire. Also, the final blow towards the keep at the bottom of the map as the second keep is gonna fall. Great setup here. Again, I also want to highlight that we are relying on a clean feed here, so I don't have any control over the observing. I can't show you any stacks that the players have right now. And that's also the reason why we're currently relying on the standard UI and not on the user interface or the observer interface that we've been using over the past weeks and months, where we have an easy glance at stacks and also at damage statistics, for example. I'm personally very, very happy that we're having access to the clean feed in the first place and that Gold League was willing to provide that for us. But yeah, it's a little bit different from the setup that we use. Schwimpi reports incoming. Feeding hard. Letting the team down. First kill for TPY. And it couldn't actually come at a worse time for Boluo. They still have Dehaka pushing topside. But Boluo, of course, was hoping to end this with another Punisher. And with Schwimpi falling, that 4-level lead might not be enough to win the fight in a 4 versus 5. They're trying, though. And they might be able to get the kill against Leo, and indeed they do. If they get more, that would be fantastic. Wubby actually making the plays against Jaina here in the back. Jumps out just before he falls. Diablo with an attempt to get a wall stun kill against Dehaka. That wasn't quite successful. And now in the 4 versus 4, we're having Boluo on the chase again. They're not giving up on that Punisher anytime soon. Chasing Diablo away here. Poilk is still dropping the damage numbers. Damn, son. Yep, and there's the kill. Great job. Good damage here from Reyna. Poilk delivering as Wubby prepares the kill for him. And that is a really important one at this point in time. They can still turn around, focus on the Punisher now, and then maybe even push in with Storm Talents on level 20. But even without it, they're looking at a setup where they should be able to end the game with the next Punisher here. And obviously by now, Junkrat is back to coming back in. We'll be riding in style on the money pick here, as you do. As you do. Still the best mount in the game. But that's the Punisher right there, and half a level away from level 20. Dehaka can just sit there, wait for another wave, and push it out, and then join the fun at the bottom of the map, which is pretty much exactly what we're going to see 365 do. So he soaks the wave, moves back down, and they are getting closer and closer to Storm Talons. Punisher isn't quite there yet, but the catapults are already pushing in. Riptire coming in again, trying to zone them here a little bit. Already the damage pushed onto Leoric, who's on half HP. Here comes the Water Elemental. Diablo falling in deep. Again, needs to be careful. Everybody's low. And 20 is about to arrive. 20 talents taken. Diablo down this time for the count. Doesn't have the souls, and they are going straight for that core. Boluo with 21 kills against 1. Able to take the victory in game number 1 here on Infernal Shrines as they're taking the lead in the best-of-3 series. Even dropping Leo towards the end. GG, and well played. Okay, everybody, we're back in our game, or in draft for game number 2, and Boluo so far has pretty much delivered. Schwimpi the only one dying in the last game. Happy to point that out here. Hey Schwimpi, how you doing? But with that said, we have TPY just being outclassed here a bit. We actually, or I saw on the stream some of their profiles a little bit earlier. Again, this is not where we are in the client itself, and I cannot control the camera or anything. But when they were invited into the lobby, it was pretty obvious that a lot of them are roughly on diamond level. There was one guy who had a platinum frame on his portrait. So you can imagine that them going up against former HGC players obviously means that they're a little bit outclassed here. Which is kind of what we've seen in the previous game. And since this is the early round of the tournament, you would also expect, obviously, Boluo to do really well here. It's really just like round 2, 3, 4 where things are going to become extremely interesting. For now, this is a little bit of a warm-up for all the top teams, I would say, where they can start to get into a flow for the tournament. But those true challenges are going to come soon enough, and then you need to make sure that you are actually ready for this. So as we're heading into the draft here, we have Wubby on Garrosh this time, with a follow-up on the side of Gia on Malfurion, so still has that lockdown. Poilk is playing Alarak again, and we've actually not seen him play that hero in this particular tournament just yet, since this is their first appearance, but he's been playing a lot more around this lately. On the other side, of course, for TPY, first game was a little bit rough, didn't have the easiest time on Infernal Shrines. They didn't get exterminated and taken down in like 10 minutes or anything, but it was still a pretty one-sided affair with, I think at the end, 22 kills against 1. They're starting things off with a very early pick against Malthael once that they see Garrosh here. So definitely intended as a bit of a counter here with last rites and them trying to get the damage in. ETC comes in as the main tank, on the other hand, for Battlefield of Eternity, which is our map here. Meaning that we're going to see them try and get these stun setups, and also, of course, depending on the backline that they're taking now. They have with ETC a hero that can just provide a little bit, oh yeah, exactly, a little bit of space. And ETC has been played in the past with Vala a lot for exactly that reason, because your face melt allows you to just keep opponents at bay, and for Vala that allows her to get that space that she really needs to make the movements on the map and get the damage in. And if she's able to dance around Alarak and also Garrosh, then she can weave those auto attacks in. I'm personally just a little bit terrified to look at this, because Vala is going to have a tough time to do that against those two frontliners, and now we're seeing Thrall in that mix too. Uther's the final pick, so we could see the Holy Cow. We could actually see them with Divine Shield into Mosh Pit, but for now, we're having Schwimpi on Tracer, and that alone is going to be a little bit rough. So ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 is coming up in the series here with Boluo going up against TPY. Game number 2, we are on Battlefield of Eternity as we are heading into our second game here. Vala starting with an arrow build, so definitely focusing on taking down that Immortal here. But honestly, you have Schwimpi on Tracer right now, and you know that he is just gonna go all out with this. Now, he can't just go full YOLO with it, because you still have Uther on the other side. If you dance a little bit too close to that bad boy, he's going to drop the hammer and stun you out. Then you have ETC with a power slide, so once that setup hits you, Tracer could be blown to pieces pretty quickly. But Schwimpi, I mean, he is a pretty experienced Tracer player, and he has done really well with that hero in the past. It's right down his alley. It's aggressive, you always have to toe the line there, it's high-fee as hell, and he loves to play that style. Now we have Thrall moving to the top lane, and I'm mentioning this specifically because he could have actually been used in the 4-man with Crash Lightning as the level 1 talent choice, and Alarak could have taken the top lane. Now you have to make a bit of a trade-off there, of course, but it's definitely something that would have been possible. So right now we're seeing them going for the variation with Echo of Elements that they're playing here. And the 4-man, of course, is fairly dangerous with this setup. Yes, we have Alarak in this. We have also Wubby, of course, just waiting for a good flip here. And we can also expect that Thrall is doing fairly well at the top lane. Again, 365 is playing it. There's already Orphea in trouble. Malf with the roots, laying down the lawn here. And barely Orphea able to escape. But it shows the threat potential that we have from Boluo here, as they are obviously aiming for a 2-0 victory at this point. ETC, as you can tell, he's pretty much doing the exact same thing that I highlighted during the draft. He's trying to create some space for the backliners. And in that case, that means also, of course, Sophia. But if he's too far out, then needs to be careful there as well. And that nearly could have been the end of him. That route didn't quite connect the way that they wanted to. But let's see how who's going to get the first kill here. The first objective is also going to be fairly important. I mean, Vala, of course, wants to stack her level 4 quest as soon as she gets the talent and get as much damage out as she possibly can. The build really unfolds in terms of immortal damage once you have your level 7. You're starting with Monster Hunter, you're going stacking in level 4, and then with a repeating arrow on level 7, that's where you have the most value for it. It's a bit of a dicey situation here for ETC, but again, with a slide, he can always move out. It makes it difficult for him to slide in, by the way. It's already tricky for ETC in the first place to be in a situation where you make the aggressive power slide happen, because you can be bursted down so quickly. But it becomes even more of an issue when you're going up against a Garrosh player. It's a bit similar to what we oftentimes see with an Uberak, for example, that you're not in a situation where you can dive in deep with a burrow charge, because you will get punished by Garrosh very, very quickly and just thrown far, like deeper into the opponent's team. So ETC is in a similar situation here. It needs to be really careful how he uses that. At the same time, it's not only Garrosh that you're worried about here. You're also in a situation where Poilk and Schwimpi can always capitalize on you moving in if he hits a good combo. So that's another big problem for them. With Wubby and them lagging here, that's also a bit of an issue. Now we're going to wait until they're back in the game, but just in case you haven't really caught up on that, they are, to my knowledge, currently in Taiwan. So they are not in mainland China at this point. And, well, at this right now, they are just playing that. Gia, as far as I know, is Chinese, but he's been living in Europe for I don't know how long. So you have to have 2 Chinese players on each team, and that's why we have currently 3 teams in Gold League that actually have foreign players. Now 2 of them have Koreans playing for them. That's the 1 and CE. And in the case of Boluo, we have with 365, who's playing the offlane, playing Thrall in this game, 1 Chinese player, Gia as a second, even though he obviously speaks perfect English and lived in, I think he lives in Sweden usually, and we have Wubby, Poilk and Schwimpi here. But right now they are in Taiwan, and that might be one of the reasons why they have a bit of a connection issue here. So I don't also know how long they've been now in China already. They are already adjusted completely. I kind of doubt it a little bit. But since this is the early start of the tournament for them, they still have a bit of time to get acclimated to the time zone difference and everything else. First blood in the game goes over to Boluo, as we have Schwimpi going in deep for the kill against Vala. That's something that Vala needs to get used to, if you ask me, because this is what Schwimpi will be looking for most of the time. He's going to look for Vala, he's going to look for Afia. And here comes the level 4 now for Vala, as she's going to try and get those stacks going. Needs to hit those heroes, of course. But the first objective is now on the map. And the question remains, how exactly is Boluo going to play around this? Can they claim the first objective and start a bit of a snowball here? Because they have an aggressive setup. And oh, look at that. We actually get stacks this time. I like it. 14 on the Echo of Elements. Not quite as quick as you normally want to be there. And we have a kill against Vala again. Going a little bit too deep. And she's not the only one. Uther's in trouble. Oh, what? Okay. Barely. It was actually a minion that got the kill here. Uther was left to die at the hands of a minion, as Boluo picks up kills number 2 and number 3. They're looking good here. They definitely do. And of course now they're also half a level ahead, which gives them another big lead. But yeah, I actually like that they showed the stacks this time. And up to the top lane. Oh, Schwimpi nearly making a kill happen against Malthael as well. Very aggressive here once again, exactly what you would expect. I mean, we've been talking about his performance on that hero for a bit now. At the bottom of the map, Alarak is still taking the experience here. When it comes to immortal pressure, it's not really as much as you might have thought. Schwimpi with a nice blink away here was actually expecting the power slide, I think, from ETC, which didn't come. But now that we're seeing the fight shift a little bit towards the immortal of Boluo, they need to be a bit more careful. ETC is low though, half HP for him already. Thrall completing his quest, Egg of Elements, so he has now the double hit. Even Vala is moving in, but we already have 2 heroes really low, and there comes the flip from Garrosh, as Schwimpi is starting in from the side again. Everybody gets poked down, and Thrall isn't even here. Thrall is already working on the immortal up to the top of the map, so he's starting to get the damage in right there. And they are winning the halftime show pretty handily as well. And not only that, if you look at the experience, they've done a way better job catching the XP on both of those lanes, despite the fact that they were fighting in the middle. Now we have Ancestral Wrath in with a level 7 talents, and that's another big lead that they have over their opponent. Again, the attempt to go for ETC, not quite working out right now. The turnaround attempt, nice save against Alarak, but the fight isn't over yet. Malthael jumps in, Wubby is low, and he's likely to fall, and that's the end of Garrosh. Garrosh dead. Thrall in the meantime still busy on the Immortal, and that Immortal is going to suffer, and they're very likely going to finish it right now. Yep, there it is. So the Immortal is one, ETC slid in, and that might be the end of him. Exactly the situation we've been talking about earlier. When ETC slides in, he needs to be careful, and this time he just exposed himself a little bit too much. With ETC down, we're seeing Schwimpi already trying to see if he can maybe even pick up another kill, and with the help of Alarak, there it is. Down goes Uther. That's 5 kills against 1 now, and of course that Immortal still with the value topside. Schwimpi still poking around, and he's going to be dancing all over the map here. He is going to be absolutely nuts in this game if he gets the chance. Repeating Arrow has been chosen on level 7 for Vala, so at least we're seeing that push potential against the Immortal. It's even a great talent, of course, for camps. Not even only talking about the Immortal here, but if you're playing with Vala around that and you're in a position where you can drop the double, the Vault and the double Arrow, you get a lot out there. Schwimpi trying to connect the bomb, doesn't quite get that, but they're going for ETC. Laying down the lawn, Malfurion again, rooting him into the ground. That's the kill right there. Poilk thrown in. And they're creating the space, and they're going for that kill. Orphea likely to fall here, and she is joined by Uther. Should be joined by Uther. Actually, just walks away. They're focusing instead on Vala, getting the kill there. And they're just murdering them. This is the first Immortal in the game, and they're getting not only the top fort, they're actually also dropping nearly the entire wall here at the keep itself. And they're close to level 10. If they get another couple of kills here, they might even go straight in for the keep. I mean, Schwimpi is going for the kill, and he's gonna get it. Yeah, he is. Gets the kill against ETC. Level 10 in their hands. They make the play for Malthael, and the Sundering from C365 actually gets it. The last hit here secured, and boy, are they wrecking this game. Damn. 10 kills against 1, and you can tell they're darting. They're actually trying to siege up against the fort. I'm not sure if they can drop it, but they might be able to get a significant amount of damage onto the keep itself. And yep, that's pretty much what's happening. The catapult is already homing, you know, they're looking for kills. Here comes the taunt. They're going in, and that's the kill against ETC. And yep, the minions might be gone, but that catapult is still doing damage. And if they wait for the next wave, they should be getting this one. Another Alarak combo, and Thrall with a final hit against Uther as they're collecting kill number 12. There comes the minion wave to soak the shots. Wubby is a bit low, so is Poilk, but still, they are getting the value right now. Big combo again against Vala, and the keep is down. Keep eliminated, and another Immortal spawning in 27 seconds, but the kills, they keep coming in. Oh, are they? Yes! That Chain Lightning, and look at that. Broccoli takes down Orphea. 14 kills against 1, nearly 3 levels ahead right now. Boluo is going bonkers here. Wow. This is actually a bit sick. I mean, we're going to see that Immortal spawn in a second, and I mean, without level 10 abilities, how is Vala even going to get close to this? She is the main damage dealer when it comes to Immortal damage. Malthael can, of course, also contribute quite a bit, but this is a halftime show for free, and this should be more. Honestly, if they get that Immortal here with 100% shields, can they even go for core with this? I'm not quite sure here. They don't run a Sylvanas or anything that would help them to push through even harder, but this is just crazy. There's a bit of a trap set up already. And ETC, is he falling for it? Oh, barely sliding away. That was a lucky one for him. There's the 10. There's the 10, and we're having, in this case, actually Stage Dive taken. That is interesting, to be honest with you. I mean, Stage Dive, you have a Divine Shield, you could go for the Holy Cow. Stage Dive into the back line, could slide now. Wubby is in a bit of trouble. Sundering nearly dropping Vala. She barely survives, barely gets away from this. Sticks around a little bit too long. Girl, you don't want to be here. If Schwimpi sees you, you're dead. If Schwimpi sees you, you are dead. Schwimpi is already cleaning the house and takes down Uther and takes down Malthael too. They're not stopping, no. Can't stop, won't stop. Orphea goes down, ETC trying to run. You can run, but you can't hide, and you can't run away from Schwimpi either. Down they go, another triple kill. 18 kills against 1, and 100% shield. Immortal is about to get to join the fight here too. Bot lane exposed, and this is not pretty. Not pretty at all. No, 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 no. The gate is down. The wall itself still stands, but that's a 3-level lead. That's a talent advantage, and that is a ruthless Team Boluo looking for the quick 2-0 victory here. And TPY, they just don't have enough to deal with this right now. I mean, again, they're looking for the second keep here already if they can get it. But this time they don't have the heroic talent advantage. So that's actually a big difference from this push to the last. TPY, even though they are a talent behind, they still have a fighting chance. There's the Sundering though, not quite as good as 365 was hoping for. Was hoping to push them in. Didn't quite hit that, but Vala... Oh, damn, I mean, we said it before, Vala is just suffering in this game. And that Immortal still has 50% shields. Fort is down, they're trying to go for ETC. The Divine Shield isn't ready, and yep, Garrosh dies, but so does ETC. Wubby is dead second time, but here comes the kill against Malthael, and that's a 2-for-1 trade, and they're going to be happy with that for the time being. Catapults are soon going to be on the core top side too. Shields are already starting to fall there, but of course they're focusing on the bot lane here. And there's the kill against Orphia and Vala, both of them down. 4 heroes eliminated. The core is gonna take damage in just a few seconds, and this should pretty much be game. I mean, the catapults are already delivering the damage points at the top. Look at Malthael, Malfurion just dropping the hit points on Uther as they are going in. And yep, the shield is gone. Catapults are on point. Boluo trying to end it all right here. Tracer finally falls as Schwimpi dies. The playback error is gonna bring us back into this. It's actually intense as the core is falling. I'm not quite sure if we're gonna be reconnecting quickly enough to see the core die. It might just be enough, but Boluo is about to drop the core, and this could be it. 5% are left. They're going for Uther. They're taking him down. They're about to finish off Malthael too, but it's Alarak that dies first. 5%, and somehow TPY is still holding on to this. Malfurion is dead. Wubby the only survivor here. Well, actually, he died first and then came back into it, but that core is still in play. There's 3 catapults coming in. The Winions are on the march to victory, but as you can tell, this time TPY is ready. There we go. We were pretty lucky so far with our clean feed here, but as it turns out, towards the end of our last series of the day, it starts to become a little bit more unstable. Oh, they kill against Vala. Schwimpi can't get it, but he is able to deliver death to Vala anyways, thanks to the camp that was already aggroed before. Great save by Wubby here too. Keeps Schwimpi alive. There's last rites. Use your ult! Finally! 5 minutes later, Malthael, yep, he dies too, but at least he gets the kill against Schwimpi. A little bit worried why he didn't use it earlier. I mean, it was clearly in range and had vision. But yeah, is able to get the last rights and gets the kill here. Now we have 25 kills against 7. The game turned full fiesta, but as you can tell here, there's 2 keeps down already. And they are just funning around at this point. They're making the play for Uther. And Uther Divine Shields himself and gets away. It's a close escape, but they make it happen. Trying to play for ETC. Can't get the kill there. Immortal is on the map, but it really seems like Boluo is dancing around and saying like, can we just end? And it's 5%. Can we break through the shield somehow? All they need is a kill or 2. But they can't really get it right now. At least it doesn't seem like it. I mean, the safe play was just to go for the Immortal. That ends the game right there. But they're dancing around the core at this point. Can they get the kill? ETC stage dives into the back. There's the Wolf from Thrall. They're sliding in. Damage attempt. Sundering delivers. That should be the end of Malthael. Nah, he actually gets away. Malthael gets away. They don't get a single kill of this. And as I say, Uther dies. Caster curse confirmed right there. Good route once again. Malfurion trying to deliver, and in comes the kill. Nicely done. 2 kills. Can they make it 3? They're going for Malthael, and he is down, and that should be the end of the core and the end of the game here, as we have Boluo trying to finish the job. They're pushing Vala back into the team. That's the end of her. Only ETC survives. The core doesn't, though, and this is game as Boluo takes the 2-0 victory over TPY in the best of 3 series of the Gold League.